Do all intersections need traffic signal? Some of you would say yes, if there's a four-leg intersection or a three-leg intersection, let's install a traffic signal there. It will help with the flow of transportation and also improve safety. Well, not so fast. Just because you have a three-leg intersection or a four-leg intersection, it doesn't mean you have to install a signal there. I believe as you use the road daily, you come across intersections that have a stop control sign in there. Some have a yield sign. Some have a roundabout, a full-blown roundabout, while others just have a traffic signal. So what determines what control device we install on each intersection? You would think the answer is quite simple. If we have an intersection with low volume of traffic, let's put a stop sign. If we have an intersection with high volume of traffic, let's install a signal there. Not quite so. That is actually not correct. Before a traffic signal is installed on an intersection, the engineer, in this case me, goes to the intersection and do what we call a preliminary engineering investigation. Some call it investigation, other people call it a study. We get the crash data, the volume data, all the data we can get of this intersection and do an analysis on it. We also try to check if it meets one of the 9 warrants from the MUTCD. The MUTCD is the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, which is like the Bible for transportation engineers. And then we check if this intersection meets any of the 9 warrants. And someone will say, well, if it meets one of the warrants, then we should install the signal there. Wrong. That is not also true. So just because an intersection meets one of the warrant for installation of signal still doesn't mean we have to install a signal at that intersection. This is where engineering judgment comes in. If we install a signal at this intersection, will it increase the conflict rate? Will it increase the queue length? Or will it improve the intersection? Sometimes installing a signal at an intersection will actually make the intersection worse than it used to be. So the engineer has to use engineering judgment to decide if we should install a signal at that intersection or not install a signal at that intersection. Now you know what go behind the scene before a signal is installed at an intersection. There are so many analyses, so many stuff that goes into play before an engineer decides if a signal should be installed or not. Have you ever been at an intersection and you thought to yourself, why in the world is this signal over here? Well, I would like to hear your comments. My name is Livingston. I am a transportation engineer, and my goal is to break down complex transportation engineering concepts for you to understand. There is more.